is about the threat of oil drilling, which they fear will destroy life as they know it. Their fears are not unfounded. The government of Ecuador has just launched a new oil boom, taking bids for drilling rights on up to 8 million more acres of its rainforest, the most biodiverse place in the world.
We have a much greater density of jaguars than has ever been reported. We have pumas, we have ocelots.
Andy says about 80% of the wildlife in this rainforest has never even been documented by scientists.
I'm really starting to have this sense of dread that this place is extremely threatened.
In fact, more oil has been spilled in this rainforest than in Alaska's Exxon Valdez disaster. As long as you're alive, you're going to fight for your community. You feel so strong.
Yes.
He sees no difference between the survival of the forest and the survival of his people. And the government sees no way for the drilling to stop. Playing out here, unknown to most of the outside world, could forever destroy one of Earth's greatest treasures and the culture of an ancient people.
I definitely see this as a human rights issue. I think it's very sad to say that most human rights issues don't really come to be recognized as human rights issues until people start to die.
But is it true you don't even vote?
Yeah, no, I don't vote. I don't get my authority from this pre-existing paradigm which is quite narrow and only serves a few people. I look elsewhere for alternatives that might be of service to humanity. Alternate means alternate political systems. But here's the thing it shouldn't do. Shouldn't destroy the planet, shouldn't create massive economic disparity, shouldn't ignore the needs of the people. The burden of proof is on the people with the power.
How do you imagine that people get power?
Well, I imagine there are sort of hierarchical systems that have been preserved through
They
generations.
get power by being voted in.
Well, you
That's
say
how
that,
they
Jeremy,
get it.
but
You
like
can't even be asked to vote.
Well, I don't think it's working very well, Jeremy, given that the planet is being destroyed, given that there is economic disparity of a huge degree. Absolute indifference and weariness and exhaustion from the lies, treachery, deceit of the political class that has been going on for generations now, and which has now reached fever pitch where we have a disenfranchised, disillusioned, despondent underclass that are not being represented by that political system, so voting for it is tacit complicity with that system, and that's not something I'm offering up. They see that they're not served. I say that the
Work for them if they don't bother to vote.
I'm not saying that the apathy doesn't come from us, the people. The apathy comes from the politicians. They are apathetic to our needs. They're only interested in servicing the needs of corporations.
You don't believe in democracy. You want a revolution, don't you?
The planet is being destroyed. We are creating an underclass. We are exploiting poor people all over the world, and the genuine, legitimate problems of the people are not being addressed by our political class.
All of those things may be true.
They are true. A socialist egalitarian system based on the massive redistribution of wealth, heavy taxation of corporations, and massive responsibility for energy companies and any companies exploiting the environment. I'm merely pointing out that
You're calling for revolution.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm calling for change. I'm calling for genuine alternatives.
There are many people who would agree with you. Good. The current system is not engaging with all sorts of problems. Yes, and they feel apathetic, really apathetic.
Yes.
But if they were to take you seriously and not to vote,
Yeah, they shouldn't vote. But they should. That's one thing they should do. Don't bother voting. Stop voting. Stop pretending. Wake up. Be in reality now. Time to be in reality now. Why vote? We know it's not going to make any difference. We know that already. So listen, so let's approach this optimistically. I'm here just to draw attention to a few ideas. I just want to have a little bit of a laugh. We can no longer have erroneous, duplicitous systems held in place unless it's only systems that serve the planet and serve the population of the planet can be allowed to survive. Not ones that serve elites, be they a political or corporate elites. And this is what's currently happening. Within the existing paradigm, the change is not dramatic enough, not radical enough. So you can well understand public disturbances and public dissatisfaction when there are not genuine changes and genuine alternatives being offered. I say when there is a genuine alternative, a genuine option, then vote for that. But until then, don't bother. Why pretend? Why be complicit in this ridiculous illusion? The time is now. These movements are already occurring. It's happening everywhere. We're in a time where communication is instantaneous. And ain't you been talking to them year after year, listening to their lies, their nonsense? Then it's this one gets in, then it's that one get in. But this problem continues. Why are we going to continue to contribute to this facade? I am angry. Because for me it's real. Because for me it's not just some peripheral thing that I turn up once in a while to a church fete for. For me this is what I come from. This is what I care about.
Do you see any hope?
Remember that? Yeah, totally. There's going to be a revolution. It's totally going to happen. I think not only I ain't got a flicker of doubt. This is the end. This is time to wake up. I remember I see you in that program where you look at your ancestors and you saw that while your grandmother had to brass herself or got fucked over by the aristocrats who ran her gaff, you cried because you knew that it was unfair and unjust. And that was, what was that, a century ago? That's happening to people now. I just come from a woman who's being treated like that. I've just been talking to a woman today who's being treated like that. So if we can engage that feeling, instead of some moment of lachrymose sentimentality plotted out on the TV for people to pour over emotional porn, if we can engage that feeling and change things, why wouldn't we? Why is that naive? Why is that not my right because I'm an actor? I mean, I've taken the right. I don't need the right from you. I don't need the right from anybody. I'm taking it.
Queridos amigos, todas las cosas vienen marcadas en la profecía de los mayas. La profecía de los mayas y de los otros. Los del centro, escuchen mis hermanos, los del centro nos hace morir el aire del norte, los fondos del sur. Nos encontraremos con
To realize that all matter is merely energy condensed to a slow vibration, that we are all one consciousness experiencing itself subjectively. There is no such thing as death,